Hello guys, Sort of is here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. If not, sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Now today guys, I am back with another Yu-Gi-Oh spin-off video. In this top 5, I'll be discussing the multiple things and features I would like to see in the new world coming to Duel Links, that is Arc-V world. Now Yu-Gi-Oh Arc-V has probably got to be the most controversial Yu-Gi-Oh series in the whole franchise, from its unpopular pendulum summons resulting into so many players quitting the TCG, its anime ending, its manga ending, and its timeline confliction on whether it's canon or non-canon. Yu-Gi-Oh Arc-V and pendulums has so many reasons for Duel Links players to be shaking in their non-Febreze gaming chairs, but there's also a lot to look forward to and a lot of potential in this new world that we're getting. Now before we get into the video, if you are hyped for Arc-V world, then be sure to set the pendulum scale on that like button and feel free to subscribe as well if you do end up enjoying the video. I also stream Duel Links on Twitch, so you can guarantee I will be streaming day 1 of Arc-V world dropping, so feel free to give me a follow if you if that interests you. And yeah, now let's peel it back layer by layer and discuss what I want in Arc-V world. Now the first thing I want to see in Arc-V world is action fields. Now if you are familiar with the anime, action fields were kind of vital to most of the duels. In a way, I guess it was the anime's gimmick, giving duels some sort of life and action with cool looking terrain for duelists to go head to head in. Now when playing Duel Links multiplayer, our duels are pretty plain Jane when you think about it. The cool things to add some sort of spice to the duels are like your card sleeves and your playmat pretty much. But what if you could change the background you're dueling in? Instead of having the regular blue reactive background while you're dueling, what if you could also have a second coin toss to decide what action field you play on? I think this will be a really cool feature, as it will add more customization to the game and make duels more entertaining aesthetically. A coin toss is one way to do this, but it can also be done in other methods too. There's so many ways you could implement this feature, like depending on what character you use, the action field will be themed around them. For example, Heartland City for Shin, or a circus for Yugioh. Similar to how characters have their own theme playing, characters now have their own action field. Now if some of you may feel this wouldn't work well, because what about characters from other worlds, you know, what about GX world, what about 5D's world, etc, etc. Well, another method of implementing this is being able to unlock action fields through challenges and playtime, similar to your card sleeves and your playmats, you know, or even events. You can get them through events. Instead of it just being exclusive to Arc-V characters, it can be more like your card sleeves and your playmat in a way. Now this may come as a controversial feature, and there will probably be questions like, what's the point if only you can see the action field you use, which is also why it's number 5 on the list. But I think this would be a really cool feature and a nice bit of customization to add to the game. Now for number 4, we have action cards. Now this was a very controversial dueling feature we saw in the anime. They were probably the most no-skill plot armor cards you could play. So much plot armor, in fact, it made Joey Wheeler look like the king of games, bro. But despite the action cards not getting so much love, this is a feature I can actually see coming to the game. I can see action cards being used as skills for Arc-V characters. Now, they could completely shaft action cards and just forget about them entirely, but having them as character skills or some skills referencing some of the anime action cards is something I can definitely see happening. A way this could be done is that the skill will probably work by adding a specific action card to the hand at the beginning of the duel, or a random action card that is listed among a few that can potentially be given to the player in the skill description. Now if the skill itself had the effect of the action cards, then I think that would be pretty broken, especially if a skill had the effects of action cards like evasion, being when a monster declares an attack, target that attacking monster and negate the attack, or the card miracle. If a monster on the field battles, target that monster, it cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, any battle damage is halved. Or like the card Twinkling Comet, target one monster on the field, it loses 1000 attack until the end phase. Also inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Now these would be pretty busted if it was just a skill and that was it, no card in the hand, like that was the actual skill itself, and it would completely ruin duels and turn them around like Destiny Draw, as these skills would pretty much have the effect of ultra rare or super rare spell and traps. These would give free-to-play players a bigger advantage when playing. Just imagine playing against a tryhard that lures you into activating their Destiny Draw. They make the final attack, picking the clutch card that they need, and then you use the skill Twinkling Comet and win with the effect damage. Bro, all the free-to-play players will be slam dunking on the worlds, bro, I swear. So this may seem like a good thing for the casual player. However, powerful skills with effects of powerful spells and traps will also hurt Kumani's pockets, as players will probably think, yo, why go waste my money and gems on these spell and trap card boxes when I can just use this skill and it's just as powerful. Another way of implementing action cards is making them event exclusive. Similar to how Igami's EX jewels allowed you to dimension summon, action cards can be implemented the same way for action card raid jewels. However, I think the best way to do it and implement action cards is having them added to the hand via a skill, because I feel like that would be the most balanced way to do it, man. Moving on to number 3, I would like an extra deck space. Now, this is going to be really short as there's nothing much to say about this. I don't know if Konami will ever add a legal extra deck, extra space, like an 8th slot for your monsters, as at the moment I think the limit is 7, as I don't know what their preferred way of adding to the extra deck is. I don't know if they have a certain method, if they do it yearly, if they do it with every new world, I'm not too sure. But this is mainly because of the effect of pendulum monsters, as their main effect is instead of going to the graveyard after destruction, they go to the extra deck, which makes me wonder, will that inspire them to add an extra space for the extra deck, maybe 1 or even 2 slots? I don't know, I feel like 2 slots will be too much. 1, fair enough, but also again, it's kind of like, nah, maybe it's too much. I'm not too sure, but the pendulum effect does make me curious if they will add an extra deck slot. Now, drawing into the runners-up spot for number 2, I would like to see Arc-V decks that aren't printed to be added to the game, as well as more support for the current Arc-V cards that we already have. Now, the support cards for our current archetypes will most likely happen. It will definitely happen, especially when the characters that use those cards come to the game, like Gong for Super Heavy Samurais, Declan with DDDs, Yugioh for Performer Pals, Serena for Lunalights, please no, Yosenju's for Silvio, and any other decks that we already have in the game. Even if some characters never come to the game, it would be really nice to see their cards added at least. Now, in terms of unprinted cards overall, I think Duel Links is the perfect place for them, especially for some cards that will never come out, or at least take a long time to be released and printed. I would love to see cards like Sergei's Earthbound Servants to come to the game. His duel with Jack was my favorite, at least one of my favorite duels in all of Arc-V. It was such a cool reference to Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, and the Earthbound Servants overall look really fun to play with. I would love to see them in the game. Off the top of my head, I don't remember any other decks that aren't printed from Arc-V, but the Earthbound Servants are like on the top of my list. I would love to see them come to Duel Links and get printed, man. They look really fun, honestly. They look really cool, very versatile, and it'll be cool to see some Earthbound support, I guess. Another thing I would like to see in terms of added cards is the manga variants of the Dimension Dragons. I think it would be a really cool gesture to make these cards as an Arc-V World release celebration gifts, or event exclusive, or as a final level up reward for all the U-boys. I know this may sound dumb, as some of these cards are pretty good, but I think it would be really neat to have the manga Dimensional Dragons as free-to-play cards. I'll be honest, they're not cards that I want to hunt through boxes and waste gems and even money on. I think it would be a really nice gesture to have the manga variants of the Dimension Dragons as free-to-play cards. But yeah, let me know how you would like to see the manga Dimensional Dragon forms come to the game. Now, last but certainly not least, the one thing I want the most in Arc-V World is the legacy characters. Now, you guys may or may not know, but characters from the previous Yu-Gi-Oh shows returned in the Arc-V anime, which was so cool. We had Asta Phoenix and Alexis Rhodes from GX, we had Jack Atlas and Crow Hogan from 5Ds with Hunter Pace and Lazar having cameos, and Kite Tenjo from Zexal. Now, if we have 2 Yugis and 2 Kaibas and 3 Jadens in Duel Links, then I'm more than certain that Konami will have no issue whatsoever adding the Arc-V versions of the characters in the game. I would say the majority of legacy characters had quite a significant role at some point in the anime, but some did get done dirty, like Asta and Alexis. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, that's my personal opinion. If you disagree, that's fair enough. But if they were only to add a few characters, I would say Asta, as he did have history and a backstory with Yu's father, so that would probably help with an Arc-V story event similar to like Zexal Road and whatnot. Kite as well, because he was just on pure smoke, and what a character he was in the anime. He was literally, without a doubt, the Zane Truesdale of Arc-V, honestly. And I would definitely say Jack Atlas, as he was the main guy and the big boss for Yuya in the Synchro Dimension arc, and probably Crow too. I mean, that's pretty much all of them, but still, they were all great, but I would love to see an Arc-V Jack Atlas the most. Honestly, I think that would be like the most perfect one if they wanted to pick just one character instead of the whole roster of legacy characters, but I think they'll bring them all in. But Jack will, I think, 100% come to Arc-V World. Some of these characters' Arc-V cards are also already in Duel Links, like Jack's Red Resonator and Crow's Blackwing, Raikiri the Solid Shower. But there are obviously other cards that aren't in Duel Links yet, like Asta's Destiny Hero Dystopia. So there is definitely a chance for them to come along with the legacy characters as potential level up rewards, or even as structure decks, which I think would be pretty cool. I think we would all want to see their cards get added, especially Kite. I really want to see his ciphers come to the game, especially Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon. Now, I personally think that these legacy characters will be added pretty later into the life cycle of Arc-V World. I think once the main cast is added to the game from probably season 1, they'll probably add the season 2 characters into Duel Links. So yeah, it's still something to look forward to, and I'm really excited to see Arc-V versions of Jack, Crow, Asta, Alexis, and Kite. But yeah, that is the end of my top 5 list for Arc-V World. What do you think of what I picked? Did you disagree or agree with any of the points that I made? What would you want to see added into the game? And which legacy character are you the most excited to see potentially get added to the game? Let me know in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit the like button below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new on here. And if you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, feel free to follow my Twitch. I do stream Duel Links over there, as mentioned at the beginning. And yeah, I'll definitely be streaming Arc-V World when it drops. So feel free to hit me up with a follow if that catches your interest. And yeah, once again, I hope you all did enjoy it. I love you all. Stay safe. I hope you all